Welcome, everybody. Welcome to Lady G's Financial Legacy Pop Up Podcast. I am happy to be here today to share with you on a very, very important topic that is very close to my heart. And if you follow me on social media, you know how close it is to my heart. For those that are listening in for the first time, I am Lady G. I am a serial entrepreneur. One of my passions is educating and teaching on the usage of life insurance and also teaching people on how to do their estate planning. This goes deep. This is you getting your wills done, your living wills, your power of attorneys, your financial power of attorneys. These items are very, very important if you are one that does not want to leave your family in the place that they have to go to court to fight over what you believe to be leaving them behind. Also, you don't want them to be in a place to have to fight to be able to make a decision even on your behalf if you are unable to. You also should consider if you are a parent and you have children, especially those that are even 18 and older. They need estate planning because if something was to happen to them and because they're of age, you really wouldn't have any rights if it's not on paper. So they should be putting on paper what they would want, whether it be mom, whether it be dad, whether it be someone else. Who do they want to put in charge to handle health decisions, financial decisions on their behalf if for any reason they were unable to? So we're going to get into it. I'm excited. I'm super excited. I am excited about my guest tonight or this evening. It is none other than Miss Lecia B Wellness. She is an eternal health expert. And when you hear how passionate she is about getting this information out, you'll know and understand why I had her as a guest today. So, first, I'm going to take this time to ask Miss Lecia to definitely introduce herself. And then we're going to get into some questions. And I love the questions that we're going to get into. So, Miss Lecia B, come on and tell the people all about yourself.
Hello, hello, hello. I am so grateful and I'm so appreciative that you have the same passion as I do. First of all, being, serial entrepreneurs, that's exactly what I am as well. So I really appreciate you. I thank you. I thank you. Thank you. So for everyone out there, my name is Lecia Bianca. That's what the B stands for. But my company is Lecia B Wellness. I am an internal health expert. So, as much as I believe that life insurance is important, I also believe in taking care of yourself so that life insurance is not used earlier than it should be. So, that's why I'm here today because life insurance is near and dear to my heart. And I saw firsthand how important it is to be protected.
Amen. Amen. I want to open this up by saying, because I know that there is somebody listening, because I get someone all the time saying, well, what is life insurance? Just because we know doesn't mean others know. So I want to quickly say this. Life insurance is a policy. There are different types of policies, but cash value is one of the usage of them. When you have cash value in a life insurance policy, you can utilize that for your needs while you're yet living. There's a death benefit attachment that has a dollar amount to it. And that typically, when you assign a beneficiary, that policy will go to them when something happens to you, so that they would be able to pay for your services, or you would just leaving that amount behind for them. There are many different reasons why people utilize life insurance. Let me be very clear that the main reason you should want to utilize it so that no one has to worry about how to bury you when the time comes, because I don't know who told the lie, but GoFundMe is not the funeral expense account. So we're going to get into even the estate planning part and what that consists of. I said earlier that's your will, your living will, your power of attorney, financial power of attorney. That is you saying, I want so and so to be in charge of this, that, and the other. Imagine this. Imagine your arch enemy, your sibling, and something happens to you. You in the hospital, you're on child life support, and she gets to make the decision whether they pull the plug. That is why it is important that you put someone that you trust and that you know is going to abide by your wishes when it comes to your estate planning. So, Miss Lecia, let me ask you, why do you believe that many people delay or avoid discussing life insurance and estate planning?
Well, I think people, avoid talking about that because a lot of people are not used to preparing.
Yes.
Most people don't prepare. Most people live day by day and preparing in many different ways, not just in life insurance, is foreign to them, you know? And that's why most people are caught, in a position that they don't want to be in because they did not prepare. You know, they weren't
Yes.
educated. And even if they did have some knowledge, they did not move forward because we are not good at preparing and planning.
Yeah. Um, why do you think we're not good at planning and preparing? Like, I bothers me and people are in a place that they can plan and prepare. I understand that there are people that find it to be a struggle. They might try to plan and prepare and feel like when they take 5 steps forward, they get 10 steps backwards because life happens. But even those that are able to prepare, but they don't. And I'll say it like this. I have this running joke, Isha, that I need Aretha Franklin to come back from the grave and tell me what in the world she was thinking, because she had an $80 million estate and it dwindled down around 8 million, and her family, her children didn't get to see anything. It wasn't because she didn't have money to do it. It wasn't because she didn't have people that told her she should do it. It's because she made the choice not to. And then when she went to make the choice, it was too late because her health had already declined. And you cannot, or you should not, anybody listening, you should not put your signature to any piece of paper when you are declining in health, whether physically or mentally, because you will always have that one family member that'll come with receipts and say, I contest that because I
Mhm.
can prove she wasn't in her right mind, or
Right,
she was going through something. So she was stressed. She didn't mean to give all this to Lecia.
right,
Take it back. So,
right.
what do you think about that?
Well, again, I have to say that, yeah, I don't want to use the word ignorant. I just have to use the word that we're not taught. We don't have the education. We don't have the knowledge. We don't even know the person that we should go to,
Mm,
right? So, say for instance, like I may know I need insurance, but am I picking up the phone? But if I
mm,
know someone who knows me that knows I need insurance, maybe a conversation can be had. I don't think we necessarily venture out to find information, right?
mm,
So, unless the information is really brought to us, and then it has to be brought to us at the right time, and then somebody's got to follow up and make sure we follow through
mm,
because we're not going to do it on our own because I just think it's something about when you're not born into wealth,
mm.
you just don't have the habits of understanding what to do.
That's good. That's real good. That's very good. Want to tackle that, go a little further, because I pray that when people listen to these types of episodes, no matter where or how they were brought up, that this will ignite something. This would plant a seed within them to want to do more. have said this very often. I did not come with the upbringing where this talk was going on.
Mhm,
The extent of the conversation of life insurance in my family was I remember that my great grandmother would have a meeting at her house the first Saturday of every month, and
mhm,
all her siblings would come around the table, and somebody at that table was holding a book, and everybody was passing money to the person holding the book. And
mhm,
it was a fund that they had created. They had a family club where the dues that were paid was stored in a bank account. And if anyone, a part of that club, passed away and did not have life insurance, the club would contribute or pay for it. That was the extent. That's how I can stand firm and say, yes, I can tell you this was not talked about. My household or others that may not have ever heard of life insurance. But I will say that being in the field, in the business, and becoming so strong, it has opened my eyes up to so much that I just want others to grab hold of it so that we can break the generational curse. Let me ask you something, Lecia.
uh-huh, mhm.
When it comes to life insurance, tell the people how it's helped you. It's gonna be good, y'all. It's gonna be good.
Well, I mean, I have to say, growing up, I was always the exceptional girl
Mm,
because I didn't grow up just in some dirt poor situation.
mm,
So, always being the exceptional girl had its advantages and disadvantages. In some incidents, the disadvantage for me was I never was placed in a situation where I had to do anything that I did not want to do.
mm.
So, what do I mean by that? Dividends. I received dividends right after college.
Wow. That's awesome.
So, people would say to me, "What? I thought you was working. You're not working. You da 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 da." And people didn't understand, how is this girl moving like this
Mm,
when she works? Sometimes she's not working. Sometimes she looks like she is working. And no one understood, nor did I share with them. My dividends was paying me more than my
mm,
job.
That's good. Oh, that's good.
So my parents wanted me to understand, do what you want. I want you to be happy. You graduated at the top of your class. You don't have to worry. We did what we did so you did not have to be in a job that you didn't want to be in. We didn't want you to have to do things that you did not want to do. So when your dividends is more than the job, so that's what started my entrepreneurship.
Wow.
My relationship with being an entrepreneur was, let me work on my own. I decided, let me figure out how to make my own money
Mhm.
doing exactly what I want to do, because I was able to do that because my dividends was paying me even if I didn't get up out of the bed. That's just one of the ways insurance helps me. I also am familiar with having a life insurance policy that's paid up and then just go borrow the money from it, and your life insurance policy still stayed. The interest from the policy that is
Mm,
paid up for 20 years, now I can go get that money and not even have to pay it back. And
mm.
the life insurance policy is still there intact.
Look at that. Look at that.
So there's many ways insurance helps me, because it wasn't always an ideal situation for an entrepreneur, as you know. It was
Mm.
not always an ideal situation. My money wasn't always flowing. My challenges came along just like anyone else's challenges. But the difference between me and the next person, which has made people resent me, is I had life insurance to live off of.
Look at that. Look at that. You know what's funny? It's not funny, but I put it out there and it's public knowledge, so I'm gonna share it.
Mhm.
Master P has an amazing testimony, and I don't know if you've ever heard it, Lecia, but he was on Jamal Bryant's podcast last week, and he shared that when his grandfather passed away, his grandmother gave all the grandchildren $10,000 from the life insurance policy of
Mhm.
their grandfather.
Mhm.
He shared that his other siblings may not have done well with their 10,000, but it was his 10,000 that had him to start his business, and that
Mhm.
1,000 transformed into 250 million empire.
Mhm. Mhm.
$250 million empire.
Mhm.
So somebody might say, "Oh, $10,000, what can you do with that?" A lot. If you
Mhm.
do it in the right way, get around people that know how to financially grow. Even as entrepreneurs, we know some things might work, some things may not. He has the testimony that it worked. And people may have thought he was crazy, but now they can see how great he was as a mastermind to turn 10,000 into 250 million, all from his grandfather passing and leaving them some money. So
That
it even
life insurance
goes to that.
policy. And the reason why, also too, the reason why I shared with you before that my mom, separate from my dad, had many policies, more I think about 8 or so. And the reason why that was is because life insurance policies, different companies offer different things, different and things of that nature. So she would see a policy that offered her a great something for her money, and she would just go and buy another one. So,
Mm,
say for instance, if she originally brought one because she had life insurance policies, I told you, that were 40 years old or greater. So,
mm,
say for instance, back then the policy may have been $6. She may have seen one that may have been $4. Oh, that was $6. Let me get this $4 one. So it accumulated over time, over time, over time. And the life insurance policy she had on me, that's what she turned into dividends for
mm.
me to live off of.
Wow. Your mother was one smart woman. Did y'all hear what Leisha said? 8 policies. Not not 1, not 3, 8. This is a real thing because when we talk to people that have the mentality or the structure of creating wealth, that is what they'll tell you. They're not holding on to one policy. There's a thing. You can literally have one policy to pay off a house. You can have another policy
Mm-hmm.
to pass on to your children so that they don't have to worry about having to pay bills when you're gone. You could have another policy just for the bills
Mm-hmm.
when you're gone. You may want a policy for the grandchildren, or you may even want a policy to retire on. This is a thing. I say this all the time. There are people that don't know you can retire on your life insurance policy. But to piggyback on what Leisha just said, I just want to share with the audience that there are different types of life insurance policies out there. And it's not a one size fits all. What works for Leisha may not work for me, and vice versa. We might have two different ideas of what we're building for, but just know that there is something out there for everybody. But just to quickly run, like you have temporary policies that's typically term where you can purchase it for 10, 15, 20, 30 years. When that term is up, you no longer have a policy and you ain't gonna want the policy because it's gonna balloon. If you was paying $70 a month, it'll balloon to 700 and it'll keep going up. And there's no cash value in a term policy. It is beneficial to your beneficiary when you're gone. There's also group insurance, which you typically get from your job. Well, when you leave that job, that policy most likely is not going with you. And if it does go with you, you ain't going to want it anyway because of the price you're going to be paying for it. It might have been free while you were working there, or you may be paying $5 while you're working it. I promise you, you won't be paying that when you leave. And then there is permanent policy. You have whole life, you have universal, you have ULs, index universal life policies, you have final expense policies. So there is something out there for everyone, and everyone's usage is different. So I need the people to know that.
Well, let me
They don't-
just say this. Let me just say
Yes.
what I want people to get from this is no matter what Lady G just said, to get what she just said, I want you to use that as an example. I don't want you to get confused or overwhelmed figuring you can't figure this out.
Mm,
My suggestion to everyone is do what I did or what my family did. You had a relationship with the person that you got insurance from. They kept you up on what is better for you now, what is next, how old this policy is, what you need to do, and that helps you to take the pressure off of you. So
mm,
take a life insurance person and look at them as your financial advisor, right?
mm.
And this way they can help you to know when maybe you should buy another policy and what this policy can do, or something is on sale, or you can switch this. And don't get confused with thinking you need to learn all of these things.
True.
You don't need to get confused. All you need to know is, where is my money? That's what you need to say to your agent. Where's the money?
That's good. Where's the money? And
Where's the money?
And speaking of where's the money, that is great. I often say everyone's idea of growing the money is different. Just know there's policies that are fixed interest, and then there's some that are compound interest. Some will have this amount of growth and some will have more. So, where's the money? Where is the
Right,
money? What do you want the money to do for you? That is
right.
great. That is absolutely great.
And that's all you need to say to, your insurance advisor, your financial advisor. Where's the money? What do I need to do to see the money? What do you think I should do? How much is
Mm,
this going to cost? What
that's
other policies? And just really put the relationship in a place where you trust them and follow their guide, because they are the professional. And I say that because that's what I did. I did not come in there telling anything about what I where's the money? What should I be doing that's going to be
mm,
beneficial to me? Maybe I wouldn't go in there and say, I don't want to work. What I need to
mm,
do, and say
mm,
whatever it is. I want to have an outlandish funeral. I want my niece to give me an outlandish funeral. How much
mm.
is that going to cost? So it's just a matter of you really being able to communicate and not being afraid that you're not going to understand something, because it's really not your job to understand. You just need to trust the person that you're doing business with.
Yes, that was so good. Yes, y'all give it up. That was very, very, very good. Wow. So, you know what Lecia just did? She just practically just gave you the step to start taking action. Take action. Start
Hmm.
thinking about your life insurance and what you need to do to get it. If you don't know anyone, you can reach out to me, and I promise you, I will have a one on one conversation with you so that we can figure out what your needs are and your family needs. That was good. Wow. This is very good. And we think about importance of having life insurance. We're going to get into the estate planning part, but is there a story that you could say, listen, if it wasn't for this, this is my example that illustrates the importance of having these life insurance policy in place?
Oh, yeah, I would probably be living on the street. I don't know, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, I remember so well how people used to say, "Ugh, her parents got money. She ain't paying for that. Her parents got money." And I used to be like, "You right, they got money because they smarter than yours,
That's
obviously."
right, that's right.
That's, because at the end of the day, there's nothing wrong with being able to take advantage of someone who was smart enough to look out for you, right?
Yes.
So I didn't have no shame because you thought it wasn't me who created all this success, it was the money from the family. Whatever you want to take away from that, then so be it. And I say that because a lot of us, hold back on doing things because our other counterparts and our other friends and our other associates are not doing it. So you want to stay in the same playing field as them. No, 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 no. If they don't move on something that you know is right for you and your family, you need to do what you have to do for yourself. Because I know a lot of us are like that too. If everyone's not doing it, then I'm not going to do it either. And
Mhm.
that's one of the reasons why I also think more people don't invest into life insurance because nobody else around them is doing it.
That is a perfect segue in the next question that I was gonna ask you. I was going to say, what lessons do you believe people can learn from cases where families were not prepared, didn't have nothing?
Well, I mean, the hardship, the pain, the agony, the broken relationships
Yes.
because everyone's expecting someone else to do more than the other
Yes.
person, the fighting, you didn't do your part, and why don't you have any money, and blah
Yes.
blah 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 blah. It is endless. I've seen it. I've seen it
So have I.
so many times.
So have
I've
I.
Right. I've seen people asking people to do things, asking people to bring the food, asking people, can you get this? Can you do that? Because the preparation simply wasn't there. And I tell all of my friends, if you come from a family and your parents are still alive, you need to find out if they have life insurance at all. Some
Mm.
people's parents don't even have life insurance. So now you need to say, no, 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 we taking out life insurance today, because at
Mm.
the end of the day, when they pass, it's on you, it's not on them. So you need to get life insurance for your security, not their security, because they're gone. So anyone who has parents that are still living and you don't have your own policy on your parents, you're crazy.
Well, you just said something very wise, but also a very controversy statement, because I can tell you that people have asked for to get policies on people, whether it be parent or someone close to them, and that person will not do it. That person, because let me just say for everyone listening, if you're going to get a policy for someone, they will have to sign the application. So I love what Lecia just said, but people make it hard, Lecia, because they won't sign the application saying that they're given that authority to take out that policy on them. And then we're right back to where we started.
Well,
Nothing.
my answer to that is have the conversation anyway. Have the
Mm,
conversation more than one time. Maybe bring in an insurance financial advisor and have a conversation with that person.
that's good.
Be persistent, and I'm gonna tell you why. Because at the end of the day, the person who is reluctant to sign off on a policy that will ultimately bury them with some kind of class and grace,
Mm,
maybe they just have some issues that you don't know anything about, and maybe the agent can break through. It
mm.
definitely wouldn't be something that I would give up on, because you have to always remember those are your parents. If you're the one that is going to be responsible for burying somebody, they're not telling me no. Okay? They're not going to
I
tell
love
me
it.
no, because I'm going to keep coming. I'm going to keep coming. I'm going to keep coming with information, because it is absolutely imperative for my peace of mind, if something happens to you, that I can bury you with grace. I'm not going to be running around here begging for a quarter, a dollar, a nickel. I am not going out like that. And I don't want you to go out like that.
Wow, wow, wow. She's left us speechless, guys. I think those that know me can tell she has as much passion as I have on the topic, or even maybe a little bit more. I love it. We're already halfway into the segment, so I want to switch gears to the estate planning. And I broke down earlier, a lot of people don't even know what estate planning is. I'll ask the question and people will say, "What is that?" So again, I just want to give some quick definitions. There is a living will. That is where you can write down your wishes of how you would want someone to step in and be in charge while you're yet living if you maybe become incapacitated or unable to handle your affairs. There is a will and testament that you can have dishes for when you're gone. Maybe there's a painting on your wall, a mirror on your wall that you cherished and you wanted to go to little baby. You can write in your will for that to happen, because if you don't, then anybody can wind up with that mirror. In fact, there'll just be many fights because maybe 10 other people want that mirror, but that will would make sure that that person got that mirror. There is your financial power of attorney. Who do you want to handle your finances while you're yet living if you was to become unable to? Whether that's because you're physically unable or mentally unable. And then there is power of attorney, where you're giving someone the authority to work on your behalf. In these documents, you can limit, again, it could be stated that this is only if you're unable to, or maybe you put a deadline date. You can write it up whichever way you want. And I would be happy to get that started for you, because so many people do need their estate planning. So I know, Lecia, that
Mhm.
when we talk about estate planning, people often think estate planning is only for the wealthy. I can tell everybody that's not true. I don't care if you just own a garbage can. But mm, why do you think, Lecia, that that's the first thing that we jump to when we say have your estate planning in order?
Well, for me, again, it's how you want to leave your loved ones. Unfortunately, no one wants to think about that. But if you have children that are, of course, near and dear to you, and you don't want them fighting, you don't want things to be lost or not taken care of properly, you need to plan that. You need to plan your old age. You need to plan the fact that you may lose your memory. You need to plan, you never know what kind of element that you're going to be hit with, right? So at a certain age, especially if you're like, 70, even if you're in your right mind, 70, 75, if you're lucky enough to get to that age, I think most people should go ahead and, get a power of attorney and make sure everything is in place, and, choose someone to be, the executor of your will, and let
Yes.
everybody know who's going to get what. I'll tell you right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't have to be an all out war. So I think the proper planning is what keeps families together, and bad planning is what breaks families apart.
Yes. Yes. You hit that right on the nail. Those that know me know I'm also a funeral consultant, and when I tell you I can write a book on what I have, sat down with families, experience it within my own family. I can tell you it get your stuff in order. I
Mm-hmm.
can't say that enough. Get your stuff in order.
Mm-hmm.
Mean, you got people that'll sit there and fight over the picture in the casket panel. I mean, like, literally, if you guys think I'm joking, but y'all need to write in the will who gets the casket panel picture. I don't know if y'all guys know what I'm talking
Mm-hmm.
about. The funeral
Mm-hmm.
homes now put like a picture of in the casket, and they even fight over that. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen it. I've seen it. So yeah.
It really destroys families. It
Yes.
really destroys family. And not only that, what it does too is harbor resentment for the person who's now no longer here. So
Mm,
people end up resenting the dead person because something didn't go their way. So that's why for me, it's no such thing as share alike. Forget those words. You need to write down exactly who gets what, what is what, da 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 da. And then you should have, a power of attorney at a certain age, maybe even still have an executor over the will, maybe at a certain
Mhm.
age. It all depends on how big your family is. But to just have people, children, whatever, and not have something written down what you desire, it doesn't matter what they think they deserve. It only matters what you desire.
Mm.
Because sometimes people think they deserve just because, oh, well, that's my mom. But if you're not the one that was there for her and
Oh
she feels
God.
though you don't desire, then
Mm.
you have to understand that too. So that's why I say, for me, there's no such thing in no will, share alike, because that's going to be nothing but a fight. You need to say what it is. I don't care if you had to add a letter to it, why you chose this. You need to make it perfectly clear so there not any resentment to the other person when they had nothing to even do
Mm.
with the choices that were made.
Wow. That was good, Lecia. That was very good. And it's a perfect way for me to let the listeners know that a will, consider that your last love letter to your family.
Mm-hmm.
Your
Yes.
last love letter to show that you cared so much that you wrote down specifically who you wanted to have this, and that, because it's coming from you. It's not something they have to guess about. It ain't so and so saying, well, when I was with him, he said I should get this. No, it's on paper. So that's what you want to do. So if anyone is listening, wants to know what the first steps that someone should take if you're ready to start thinking about life insurance, thinking about estate planning, in the captions will be a link. You can reach out to me. I am a licensed financial professional where we can discuss your estate planning and your life insurance needs. A lot of people find it hard to discuss these end of life plans or planning with family members. As Lecia said earlier, you can invite myself. If you don't want to get a policy with me, find you someone that's licensed that you can trust and reach out to them. Just get it done. But just know that you need to have these conversations. I do family Zoom calls where people invite me to sit in front of their families on the computer and share just like this information so that we can get them in a place that will be better for the family as a whole. So you can even arrange a family Zoom call. I would be happy to do this. Again, if you can't have the conversation with them, promise you I surely will. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely reach out about that.
And can I just share one more thing before
Yes.
we go?
Yes.
What I want everyone to know also is, don't be afraid. It doesn't even cost that much money. I suggest anyone with children, the earlier you buy policies, the
Yes.
cheaper it is.
Yes.
Even if you have parents that are 65 and 75, you can find policies that still may be only $20 a month. You
Yes.
just may have to do a little research. Some policies now you don't even need to do a medical exam. So it's not like it's going to take you out of your financial budget, right? It's not like you have to fear, my God, that's going to be $200 a month. No, it's not going to be $200 a month, because there's two types of policies. One, to bury someone, and then
Yes.
two, to gain wealth. So if you
Yes.
want to gain wealth, then you go get $100,000 policy and you spend 10,000 or less if you can on the burial, and you keep the rest. There's nothing wrong with that either. But understand, the burial part, you can afford that. You can
Yes.
absolutely afford that.
Absolutely. I'm so glad that you pointed that out. Absolutely. So definitely, guys, reach out and we can definitely give you those numbers. A few things I want to say that I know is always questions that people ask. First of all, someone is always wondering, how often should someone revisit and update their life insurance? Can I tell you guys that at minimum, I tell my clients you should be doing it at least once or twice a year. And I have this fine example that I always use. I had a client, or have a client, and her parents passed. The mom was the last one to pass. And when the mom passed, she called me and she said, Lady G, she says, Mom passed. I said, I'm sorry to hear that. And she said, do you know that Dad got the life insurance? So I said, okay. She said, My mother's rolling over in her grave because she been divorced from that man for such and such amount of years. She would not want him to have a dime. And I said, that is a perfect example why we need to update our documents. If you don't want to be rolling over in your grave, make sure that you're not leaving arch enemies or anyone that you don't
Mm,
want to have the money on
mm,
your policy.
mm.
So, and then what made it even better, I mean, it wasn't funny at the time because she really was feeling this really hard. But I think and laugh now because she said to me, she said, Lady G, and you know what else? I said, what? He ain't even asked me if I wanted it, needed $1. I said, money changes people. And guess what? It's his money. He ain't got to. See?
Well, let me just say something real fast with that too.
Mm,
And she's right, because understand, you can have someone tell you you're the beneficiary. They can change that at any time. So someone can pass that you thought you were going to be the beneficiary to find out that they changed it
yep.
and now it's someone else. So you
Yes.
have to understand that too. And I just want to say this one thing that's very important to me. Couples, people who choose to live
Mm,
together, they're unmarried, even married people don't have a life insurance. But I'm telling you right now, women, no man's living with me.
mm,
No man is living with me. No man is marrying me without giving me a policy.
mm. Come
That
on.
comes
Can
first.
you say it again for the people
And
in the back?
not only are you giving me a policy,
Oh,
if you're living, you will be paying the policy,
oh gosh.
right? But not only are you paying it, I'm going to be the owner, OWNER, and the beneficiary. You
My
will
God.
not change on me.
My God.
You will not change nothing. This marriage, this relationship can end. You can walk out the door. That policy is still mine.
Mm.
Not wishing nothing bad. But if something happens, I'm coming with my policy and I'm getting my money, right?
My
I
God.
am not going to ever be without security because I'm talking about love. The security comes first, and then you can show me the love.
Mm.
That's all I have to say.
Woo! Drop the mic, drop the mic, drop the mic. My God, my God, my God. Y'all heard it here. Miss Lecia B just dropped that mic very hot. Listen, Lecia B, if listeners could take away, and I already know what it is, and I think the people already know what it is, but if listeners take away one thing from today's conversation, what would you want it to be?
I would want you to, before the end of the week, to find an agent and start inquiring about what's going on in your life, what responsibilities you have, and what protection you need for your life and your family. Don't put it off because, as I just said, everyone can afford a policy. There's no one that can't afford a policy.
Wow.
Kids that are 20 years old can afford a policy.
Yes.
Okay, so you don't have to be a certain age to take a policy out on your mom, take a policy out on your grandmother, take a policy out on your siblings. It all depends on the dynamics of your family. But my takeaway, if there's anything, is just don't wait.
Mm.
Find someone that you can talk to make things a little bit clearer for you, make you understand a little bit more. Put the seed in your mind, change your mindset, remove the fear, because you don't want the thing to happen and you are now in regret.
You guys heard it. You guys heard it. And again, there will be information in the caption wherever you're listening to. If you listening to the replay on YouTube or on all audio platforms, you will get the information there where you can book a meeting for a one-on-one session or just to give me a call to get more information if you so choose. But that is me, Lecia B. I want the people to get your contact info. That will also be in the captions. But if you just want to say it quickly, how they can reach out to you, and just we didn't touch on it, but I want them to hear a little bit about your business and how it connects. Just take a minute and do that.
Okay, so I have to say, wellness and internal health was not my first career. My first career was all fashion, all the beautiful things, interior design, all that stuff. Wellness became such a part of my life because I had lost someone and I was confused as to why people die. How did one day they're okay, the next day they got to have an operation, operation failed. Didn't understand, like, do we just wake up sick one day? So lo and behold, God must have heard my prayer. And I met a biochemist that changed my life. The biochemist, eventually got me so interested in wellness that I started studying. And now I'm certified for more than 9 years, more than 10,000 hours. Now I give advice and coach and counsel doctors' offices, patients, hospitals, all over the place. So, what I really do is to teach people how to not age aggressively. We're not understanding the aging process, and the things that we're not understanding is what is killing us quicker than we need to be, quicker
Mm,
than we need to be dying, of course. So, my responsibility is to just educate you on what your body requires to live in optimum health. So you're not aging prematurely. What most people don't understand is this: you have two ages. Your chronological age is the year and date that you were born. That doesn't matter because your body doesn't know how old you are because time is made up. It's your
mm,
biological age that determines when you leave here. And we don't understand what our body internally needs to slow down the aging process so we're not 20 and 30 years older internally than we really are
wow.
year and date of birth. So that's what I do. I coach people how to lose weight, how to get off medicine, how to just slow down the aging process, biological, a biological age. And you can look it up: chronological age versus biological age, where you can maybe get a better understanding. So,
Wow.
your age, the number of your age is internal. So I'll just say this: every year I take my tests, and every year I write myself a letter saying where I am and what I want to improve on, because this way it allows me to keep paying attention to my body. Another thing that we don't do, we don't pay attention. By the time we look up, all sorts of stuff is wrong. So I encourage people to pay attention to their body. They can contact me on IG. It's just Lecia Bianca Wellness on IG. I have phone numbers, I have free assessments, free consultations, anything that you need to help you on your journey to turning back the clock internally. So that's why people say, "Oh, it looks like you don't age," because internally I am probably 25 years younger internally than my actual year and date of birth.
Wow. That's good.
So that obviously is connected to insurance. So both of them are huge passions of mine.
Yes, yes, and I think that is exactly why we connected. And you guys definitely reach out to her if you want to go into more detail. I am sure she'll be happy to share. She'll be happy to service you. And as she just said, they are connected because your health is your wealth
Yep.
and you pay lower cost of insurance when you're
Yep.
healthy. Insurance is based on your age and your health. And I promise you, when you have health issues, that price does go up. So definitely reach out if you want to know any more information or even tips on how to live longer. I want to say thank you, Lecia B, for joining us on this episode. I am so thankful that you took time out to share. I believe that people are going to hear your words, hear your voice, and going to be better for it because you were able to plant a seed that I may never have been able to. So I'm thankful, thankful, thankful for this important conversation on life insurance and estate planning. I want to everyone to remember planning for the future isn't just a financial decision, it's a gift to your loved ones. So until next time, take steps today to secure your tomorrow. This is Lady G, and I know that you're going to do what's right. You're going to take action. But while you're on your way to do that, I want you to remember the best is yet to come. Shalom, everyone. Shalom.
Goodbye.
Bye.